patience. This one, like, it's all happening. You're already them. You've already transformed. And I am telling you, 2026 is the year of being seen. And everything happening to you right now, because you went through some big change this year. This summer really changed you. And then there's this liminal space now. You're in the space in between, the space between awake and the space between asleep. Because the last few years, you've been asleep trying to become this identity, trying to manifest this new version of yourself, but part of you was so deeply asleep in the program. Like, you were operating in the program, you were operating in the matrix. That's why you couldn't, like, fully, like, you saw the sprinklings of the manifestations, but not fully, because you were still in the freaking, you were plugged in to the program. That liminal space between awake and asleep is what you're in right now. You're awakening. Whatever you did this year brought this version of yourself out that is, it's the one. You're the one. This is the one that is going to see all those dreams happen. Like, you did it. And we're in a moment of rawness. We're in a moment of vulnerability. We're in a moment where we need to look at our triggers so different. You better not get triggered and go back into that old headspace. What's happening is those triggers are revealing, they want to be felt without the head. There's some kind of somatic release that is happening, and you cannot fully receive this next version of yourself if you do not fully allow yourself to receive the feelings that are the physical sensations that are happening in your body. So you just endure. Every time you go to the head, watch out, because the head is, it's just like torture porn. It is just twisted. We're not working from the heart. We're not working from the head anymore. If you're going to work with me, we're working from the heart. We're thinking from the heart. The heart has that, you can do more research, but it's like 40,000 neurons. Like, there's a heart brain. Okay. It's our toroidal field. The most extensive magnetic field coming out of us is coming from the heart. In almost every spiritual teaching, it's like, God lives in your heart. It's like, dude, why aren't we manifesting from our hearts? Why have we been, and you can feel the difference. Like, when you're just like thinking, it feels like here, right? Like, ugh. But when you actually take the time and bring it down to your heart and constantly project from your heart, instead of, don't even, whatever. If you want to project from the third eye, I would recommend you first start with the heart and then work your way there, because you're, so, when you're thinking and visualizing of the things you want to manifest come from your freaking heart, that is like 10, 15, 20 times more magnetic than manifesting from the brain thoughts. So there's this whole thing like, okay, patience, because you're about to blow up. Like, the way that you're, and I mean this in like, whatever it is you're doing, that how you want to see your love life, how you want to see your career life, how you want to see your friendships, how you want to see your family life, it's all about to just excel into this thing where, I don't know, it's just so magnetic, and you're just receiving. And it's like, you're going to be like, this is too good to be true. Like, I'm so in awe. In fact, it's going to feel so good that you're going to get triggered. Like, whoa, what if I blow it? Like, what if I lose this? Because it feels so freaking good. And it's because you are finally awakening into the version of yourself that is that version. Like, you became that version, but the more I'm like, I really thought that change was, that big change that happened to you in the last few months within how you see yourself. It actually, it put you in the liminal space. It didn't, you're not fully in the like, loud and proud and shiny. You're in that space in between, and it's very strange. And it can also be, moments of just, when reality also just feels like, is this what's happening? Because something deeply like, there's almost like you understand that you can like bend and mold reality to your liking by your vibration. And it makes more sense because your thoughts, when we think, and they're coming from the brain, it's all like a ton of electricity, but the magnetism is from our heart. So that's where your frequency shifter is. Like if you're emitting anything, the biggest bang for your buck is going to be you emit that from the heart. So I know I am aware I'm all over the place. I'm like, patience, manifest from your heart. You're in a liminal space. You're new, but you're still waking up into the new version of yourself. All that to say is that this is all about being seen. And it's about you seeing yourself, and it's about, because those eclipses were about showing you where you've been shadowing yourself. And this isn't like the shadow work of loving those aspects of yourself. This is like the shadows of the programs and the lies that you have identified with for millennia. So yeah, just allow whatever is coming up that feels really raw and vulnerable and like sharp. Just allow yourself to feel it in your body. Just shut it down in the head. Like everything's gonna be like, see, because you're not good enough, and you're just like doing this like weird self-afflicted torture session with yourself. So you have to realize, if I allow myself to feel it in my body, I'm not going into like the mind war. I'm feeling it in my body, and by allowing myself to feel it, I'm receiving myself. Therefore, I'm allowing myself to receive what I really want. And when you allow yourself and receive the physiology, the feelings in your body that you really have been pushing away for a long time, there's this thing called the law of the opposites. So it's basically this idea that everything is two sides of one coin. So when you're pushing away and running away from feeling what fear feels like in your body, you're also pushing away and running away from what it feels like to feel safe. When you're pushing away disempowerment in your body, you're also pushing away empowerment. So this whole thing, and you receiving you, this is about you receiving yourself. This is about, in that reception, you see yourself then, right? Because if you couldn't even receive you, why would anyone else fully freaking receive you? If you cannot be there for yourself, if you cannot receive all those things, the issue is no one wants to receive the program. That's why we've been running. We've been, okay, I don't want to feel these things. Why would you want to feel those cruel things you say in your head? So it's a very master, sophisticated, like, you know, and it might take practice and you might not always do it, but it's like you receive the physical feeling of it, not what it's telling you. You allow yourself to feel it in your body. And I'm going to be real. When I tried to do this work, when I was very in victim consciousness and aligned with having complex PTSD due to childhood sexual trauma, and I mean, I was in that for like almost 2 decades. That PTSD alignment, victim, life is suffering, understanding of reality, I didn't get it. I thought like just be with it, the feeling in the body. I think I still went there with all the terrifying things that were happening in my mind. So it just like wasn't helpful. So don't do it if that's what's going on. But if you're able to allow the intensity, allow the heat, allow the denseness, then that is powerful without going into the mind. So this is all happening so you can receive and also detox out. Allow yourself to receive you've been holding on energetically in your body. When you receive that, you detox it out, and then it allows room for the exact opposite thing to come in, that love, that friendship, that new community, that job, that finance, whatever it is. So yeah, just be a lot of compassion with yourself. in this moment, because, and patience, because it's all happening. Like, you're the one, you're awakening right now. It's like when the butterfly is probably quite a bit oriented in whatever their consciousness looks like, because you know what keeps coming up? Gosh, I forget the word, but it's when humans put their idea of consciousness onto other things, like an animal or a plant, and they assume that it has the same type of thinking because this is just how we understand reality. But anyways, I assume that the butterfly, from a human perspective, might be disoriented in this new level of reality, and it's very fragile, and it has to pump blood into its wings, and it has to be patient and wait for the sun to dry off the goop on its wings. So there's this like kind of fragile moment that we're in before we're fully flying. So patience, patience, patience. Everything happening right now is really because you're gonna be seen, but it's because you're gonna see yourself. Like, you're gonna and the truth of yourself. That's what's crazy. It's like you're gonna see through the shadows. Actually, you're gonna dismantle those shadows, the programs. So this is super powerful. Congratulations. Like, this is the warrior work. This is the light warrior work, because you're here to change the world. You're here to heal yourself, uplift yourself, and share that with humanity. And your change in yourself will change everything around you. So thank you. Thank you for not giving up on yourself. Thank you for falling and getting up again. Thank you for, thank you that you haven't given up, because it can be really, some levels of suffering are just profound, and there's something weirdly sacred in that too. I mean, it is sacred because a lot of the opposites, the exact opposite is there, but there's something, when I think about my own personal trauma, it's like almost untouchable. Like, no one else is allowed to touch that. Like, it's so sacred. Like, that understanding, that those moments of that reality, there's something sacred in understanding that level of horror. I don't know. And I mean it because, I'm sure there's probably going to be people who don't get what I'm saying, but experiences like those rip open your concept of reality, and you kind of go into some alternate space. And I don't know, maybe it's also sacred because what you can end up doing with that level of horror or pain, it holds something. It holds, because none of this horrifying stuff and the suffering that you're dealing with is in vain. It's none of it. It's like you bringing justice out of that in your own way, which is you healing it, you finding your power or whatever. It's like the greatest light. It's like the greatest light you will ever emit, and it will illuminate the world. But I don't know, why is that? I don't know. There's just something sacred about your trauma that's untouchable, that no one is allowed. I don't know if anyone can relate to that. It's like, I don't know. Anyways, I love how my red pants look against this amazing blue background. Yeah, world peace forever. Thanks for not giving up, because we need you.